everyone, it's Mrs. Londoño here. I have my lights off and I'm wearing my pajamas. So I'm going to read you a story called The Very Noisy Night. And it was written by Diana Hendry, illustrated by Jane Chapman. Here's the cover. There's the title, The Very Noisy Night. Ooh, what do you see? It was the middle of the night, and Big Mouse was fast asleep in his big bed. Little Mouse was wide awake in his little bed. Big Mouse, called Little Mouse. I can hear something rushing around the house, huffing and puffing. Big Mouse opened one eye and lifted one ear. It's only the wind, he said. Can I come into your bed? Asked the little mouse. No, said Big Mouse. There isn't room. And he turned over and went back to sleep. Little Mouse lay listening to the wind. Then suddenly, between a huff and a puff, came a tap, tap, tap. Little Mouse climbed out of bed, opened the front door just a crack, and peeped out. Whoosh went the wind, but there was no one outside. Big Mouse, called Little Mouse. I can hear something. I can hear someone tapping. I think there's a burglar on the roof. Big Mouse got out of bed and opened the bedroom curtains. Look, he said. It's only a branch tapping on the window. Go back to sleep. Can I come into your bed? Asked the little mouse. No, said Big Mouse. You wriggle. Oh, look, there he is looking out the window at the branch. Little Mouse lay in his own bed and listened to the wind huffing and puffing and the branch tapping and someone calling, hoo, 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 hoo. What do you think is making that sound? Little Mouse climbed out of bed again. This time he looked under it. Then he looked in the wardrobe, and feeling very frightened, he yelled, Big Mouse, I think there's a ghost in the room, and it's looking for someone. It keeps calling, hoo, 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 hoo. Big Mouse sighed. He sat up and listened. It's only an owl, he said. It stays up all night like you. Can I come into your bed? Asked Little Mouse. No, said Big Mouse. Your paws are always cold. And Big Mouse pulled the blanket over his head and went back to sleep. And Little Mouse got back in his own bed. Little Mouse sat up and listened to the wind huffing and puffing, and the branch tapping, and the owl hooting. But shh! What was that? Big Mouse, he called. I think it's raining inside. And the little mouse jumped out of bed and fetched his red umbrella. Drip, 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 drip. Big Mouse got out of bed too, and he opened the front door to see if it was raining at all. Then Big Mouse went into the kitchen and turned off the dripping faucet. He gently pried the umbrella out of Little Mouse's paws and put it away. "Can I come into your bed?" asked the little mouse. "No, you're nice and snug in your own bed," said Big Mouse, taking him back to the bedroom. Little Mouse lay and listened to the wind huffing and puffing, the branch tap-tapping, the owl hooting, and just as he was beginning to feel very sleepy, he heard, "Wee, wee, wee! Big Mouse, Big Mouse!" he called. "You're snoring!" Wearily, Big Mouse got up. He put his earmuffs on Little Mouse's ears. He put a paper clip on his own nose, and he went back to bed. I wonder if Little Mouse will still be able to hear sounds if he has earmuffs covering his ears. Let's see. Little Mouse lay and listened to nothing. It was very, very, very quiet. He couldn't hear the wind huffing, or the branch tapping, or the owl hooting, or Big Mouse snoring. It was so quiet that Little Mouse felt he was all alone in the world. He took off the earmuffs. He got out of bed and pulled the paper clip off of Big Mouse's nose. "Big Mouse! Big Mouse!" he cried. "I'm lonely." Big Mouse flung back his blanket. "Better come into my bed," he said. So Little Mouse hopped in, and his paws were cold, and he needed just a little wriggle before he fell fast asleep. Oh, look, he looks so cozy. Big Mouse lay and listened to the wind huffing and puffing, and the branch tap-tapping, and the owl hooting, and Little Mouse snuffling. And very soon he heard the birds waking up, but neither of them heard the alarm clock, because they were both fast asleep. The end. So that reminded me a lot about my house and what used to happen here when my son was smaller. He was always trying to get into my bed. In this story, the little mouse couldn't sleep because he kept hearing sounds. He couldn't see anything, but Big Mouse knew what the things were by the sound they made. The wind and the tapping, the water dripping from the faucet, and even the owl hooting. You can use your senses to hear things and tell what they are. We're going to talk a little bit more about things and what they're made of and how you can tell what they are when we meet in our virtual groups. Until then, bye.